So we did crosstabs last week. I want to talk a little bit about crosstabs. If you're coming from a more traditional statistics background, crosstabs are usually used in smaller data sets. And they're used that way because you want to have a smaller table to look at. It's a way of looking at connections between data. And again, it's looking at counts. So each of the cells has the counts. If you've worked with SPSS or R, you can see the connection between crosstabs and a chi-square. So you do the chi-square, which basically does a crosstab table, and then figures out the chi-square for the different rows and columns. We can do the same thing when we're working in Python and look at the data and look at the small data set and say, hey, this looks interesting. But the other thing you might do when you're working in Python is do a large data set. And that way you are transforming your data into the count data, which you can then start working with. So oftentimes when you're working with Python, you might be doing crosstabs just as an intermediate step to transform your raw data into a format to do some further analysis with. If you're doing large, if you have a crosstab that you have a large data set and you actually want to analyze it and not do some transformation with it, one of the things you can do to reduce the size of the data set is to group the data. So one of the sample data sets we looked at last week dealt with sale price data. So we're looking at price data that runs from under 100,000 over $1 million. And the prices are maybe $1 here, $1 there, 1,000 here, 1,000 there. So you have a huge data set. But really, a $150,000 house, a $151,000 house, they're the same. You don't care. So you want to chunk the data into larger and smaller groups. And you may chunk it by $50,000, $70,000. That's where using the describe on your data, you can look at the quartiles and get a better feel for where you might want to break your data up. And then you would group the data and then use that group data to do the chi-square on.